So after the break, we're going to continue to discuss whether Spain is a multicultural country or not. This graph showed us a percentage of the Spanish population that was actually foreigner. And we see that this peaked in 2010. With the crisis, obviously, this changed. But at that time, up to almost 13% of the Spanish population was not born in Spain, had not been born in Spain. And if I ask you, where do you think most migrants in Spain come from? Try to guess which continent for a second at home. And now I'll show you. Actually, the answer is Europe. The European Union is the main producer of migration for Spain. This makes a lot of sense. If you think about Schengen, we're going to discuss that in a second. Second comes Africa, and there are two different profiles, Northern Africa, Morocco in particular, but also Sub-Saharan. And these have also different profiles and also different ways of entering the peninsula. And this also results in different treatment. And you can also see that South America nowadays comes third. Back in the time was the second in 2011. But because of the economic crisis, many South Americans returned to the home countries. And you will see that the profile of the South Americans is slightly different as well. But once again, this is a relatively low number, relatively low percentage of the population being foreigner if you compare it to other countries. If you compare this to France, that has a history of migration, particularly coming from Algeria, former colony, or the United Kingdom, same thing with former colonies. You talk about India, you talk about colonies in Africa as well. You have a completely different approach to how multiculturalism works in those countries compared to Spain. So, particularly three predominant origins of migrants coming to Spain from Europe, from Africa, and from South America. Europe, as I was saying, is mainly due to Schengen, and actually the profile of these migrants is very different. Many times these are highly profiled migrants that either come here to better jobs in companies in Spain, or they even come to retire. We have many British people, over 300,000 British people that after retiring moved to Spain, and they decide to spend their retirement by the seaside. We're a little bit of the Florida of the European Union. We'll have to see what happens when the UK, it's already formally left the European Union, but when this is enforced, how is that going to affect these people that are now living in Spain? But we have two other countries that are also relevant here, that even though they are not part of Schengen, they are part of the European Union. So actually, migration is easier than other countries, obviously from Africa or from South America. And these are Bulgaria and Romania. These are two underdeveloped countries. And obviously the profile of those migrants that come to Spain is not the same that migrants come from Germany or come from France. These are low qualified, seeking for low paid jobs in Spain, and this has a different issue of integrating these people into our society, and there's still challenges. In cities like Madrid or Barcelona, you have ghettos of migrants coming from Romania and Bulgaria nowadays, particularly even more Romania. Romania has bigger numbers in this sense. So the profile of the European migrants is diverse depending on the country of origin, so you cannot have one single profile of the European migrant, and how easy it is to integrate them into our society and whether issues might arise or not. Even more important, even harder to integrate, it's been African migrants. As I was saying, Sub-Saharan migrants come from countries like Mali or Ghana, and people that actually risk their lives to make it to Spain. They actually cross the border illegally, they cross the Strait of Gibraltar, and taken by mafias, so similar situations to the ones of the refugees, and this is a different term, that flee from the conflict in Syria and try to reach Greece. But this is something that is been taking place. This kind of economic migration reaching Spain is something that has been going on, as I was saying, since the 2000s. And integrating that people into our society has been a challenge, particularly minors and how they are treated and the opportunities they are being given. We're going to discuss it later, whether Spain is doing a good job or not with this issue. And last but not least, South America. South America is a very different profile, much easier to integrate in our society. By the end of the day, the cultural traits are very similar. They're a former colony where, as you know, history, we imposed our culture and almost well, neglected is a very soft word in this case, but neglected the existing cultures there. So, but they sharing religion, sharing language, that makes integration rather easy for these populations kind of from South America. But as I was saying, with the economic crisis, numbers were getting down from 1.5 million to a little bit more than 700,000. So very different profiles. Obviously, the ones that are more challenging are Africans and Eastern Europeans because of language barriers and also cultural differences, and also because Spanish society does not have a tradition of integrating migrants. As I was saying, this is something new, this is something that started in 2000, and as any cultural change, this takes time, and Spain has not gone through that phase just yet. So, if we talk about, wait a second, there we go. If we ask ourselves this question, is Spain a welcoming country? The question here, is not easy to answer. I'm sure you have an opinion on this. I'll be happy to read, if you want to tell me about your opinion on whether Spain is a welcoming country or not, I encourage you to email me and let me know. Actually, this is very interesting. I will like to discuss this in class. But you can say yes on the one hand. For example, with the refugees coming from Syria, Spain was one of the countries opting for opening borders and accepting more refugees. But at the same time, it's not clear. The policies we have with migrants, with economic migrants coming from Africa, are very restrictive. What I think I've already said it in class. What Trump is thinking about the wall, this is something that Spain has been doing for decades. So it's a bit hypercritical, but it's something that has happened for a long period of time here. And we return migrants the moment they step Spain. So by the end of the day, Spain is not that much of a welcoming country. Also, the economic conditions of the country also influence the approach we take to migration. But by the end of the day, not such a welcoming country, not yet such a multicultural society. And as we've discussed in class, there are some issues that are not even issues because we haven't asked ourselves those questions just yet. So next class on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the quality of democracy in Spain and whether we are a corrupt country. Our democracy is legitimate, people are discontent, and whether people are disaffected of politics. So I'll see you on Wednesday with a new video of our class. Have a nice one. Bye.